Hello and welcome back to the Tin Barn. I'm Pragmatic Lee, and today's video is going to be another little tool storage idea that I think will work to store a couple of new tools I picked up. First is these are sold by Amazon. It's AC Delco brand. I remember the AC Delco name from Auto Parts, even back into my teenage years. But it's a battery operated ratchet. This is 3/8 inch, and I also picked up the 1/4 inch. I could store these, I guess, over in my drawer where the manual ratchets are, but I kind of like to keep my battery operated tools in close proximity to where the battery chargers are. Let me swing the camera around and I'll show you what I'm thinking about doing and where it's going to be. Over here in this corner is where I have got my battery operated tools right now stored. The 12-volt drill. This one down here, this is an old Skill 18-volt battery dead in it right now. Tell you a quick little story on it. I've had this for quite a few years and I lost it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked this shop inside and out. I think I've probably told this story before, so some of you that's long-time viewers have probably heard it before. But I looked the house over, the outside shelters, everywhere I could think inside the tin barn here to try to find it, and couldn't find it. And so I said, well, I'll just go ahead and get something a little newer, and that's when I picked up this 12-volt DeWalt. I went to Lowe's, bought this, and I'm not stretching this not one bit. But I come home from it, unboxed it, carried the box over to the other side of the tin barn where I keep cardboard boxes until I recycle them. Glanced over to the right, and sitting on the workbench over there was this Skill that I had been looking for a month. I had not even put the battery in this when I found that one. But this is much more lightweight as far as physical weight. It's got just as much power as that old 18-volt Skill. But after a period of time, I wanted an impact driver as well, to be able to use the same batteries. And it turns out that I could buy the impact driver and another drill for like $15 or $20 more for the combination than just buying the impact driver. So I got that, picked up an extra battery. Down here, maybe out of camera range, but down here is the charger for the old Skill. That's the size battery for it. Like I say, it's kind of old school stuff. These are my two DeWalt chargers for the drill and the impact driver. And I've already mounted the chargers for these ratchets, these electric ratchets. They use these are 12-volt as well. So I've already mounted them. What I want to do over here is something similar to what I have here, where I've got a round PVC pipe and those slides in. We go back to the workbench and I'll give you a better idea of what I'm actually looking to put on the wall up here. I had some 2-inch PVC out here at the tin barn, so I decided I would try it. And look at there. That fits right down in that. That's the 1/4 inch one. 3/8 the same way. So what I want to do is mount these on the wall. I'll have a screw under the bottom just to keep them from going down any further. But to hold this against the wall, what I want to do is take a piece of, let's get something a little stronger here. I have a piece of 1/2 inch thick, 4 inch wide by 7 inch long aluminum plate. I've already got it die-chem loaded up on one side. But what we're going to do is drill 2 circles, or bore 2 circles in this, the same size as the pipe. It'll be, this is 4 inches wide. It'll be 1.79 inches to the center here. That'll leave about 0.6 inches off to the side over here, off on each side. We'll drill 2 holes, bore 2 holes through that, and then we'll take the long reach slitting saw and slit this in half. One half of it we won't use on this project. The other half we will. The other half is what we'll use to hold these pieces up. The one half we don't use, it'll go in the tool drawer or in the small parts drawer, and I'm sure I'll find another project for it one day. But let's zoom the camera on down in here and we'll get this piece laid out. Alright, I think the first thing we're going to do is put a center line in. Set my calipers up at 2 inches. We'll run it from the other side. Yep, that's right on. Alright, this first step over should be 1.79 inches from the end. That is half the radius, or it's half the diameter of the piece of plastic, plus the 0.6 over here. So we'll come up 1.79. We'll mark this at both ends. Now I'm going to go ahead and punch a little hole, or punch a witness mark right here. The plastic diameter is 2.38 inches. Half of that, 2.38 divided by 2, 1.19. You've seen me do this before. I'm going to take my calipers and then I'm just going to punch a couple little holes in the paper. I found that is usually the easiest way to get your dividers set up. So alright, hopefully you can see that without too much glare in the camera. This line right here is just for me to reference as I'm boring the holes out. We will actually bore it to size, but when I start getting close to this line is when I'll start measuring. So we're going to set up in the mill now. Drill up to the largest drill I've got, which is 1 inch, and then we'll put the boring bar in and bore these out to size. Okay, we're over at the mill now. We'll put our workpiece in the vise, of course setting on a couple of parallels. Now since I laid this out over there on the table, we're not going to try to find the ends or the center on here. We're just going to use those witness marks that we put in. I've got a pointer in the drill chuck now. We'll come over here to this side, find that punch, and consider it 0, 0. Alright, DRO, I'm going to 0 that out on both axes. So this is 0, 0 over here. Now let's come and go ahead and find this one. And that is 3.444. This piece wasn't exactly 7 inches long. Measuring that with the calipers said 3.44. same as the DRO has given me. If I took 7 inches and subtracted this distance from each side, it comes to 3.2. Like I say, this is not exactly 7 inches long, but I've got a mark on that. So we'll go ahead now, while we're over here, and drill this side. We'll lock the table down, and I'm going to step drill that. I'll start with a 1/4 inch, then step up to about a 9/16, and then we'll go with the 1 inch. Each drill size up, of course, I'm slowing the speed down as well. Back to 0 on the DRO. All right, I'm going to take the drill chuck out now and put the boring head in. And I've already got the boring bar is in the outside hole on this head. So I'm going to see if it'll back up enough to get this. That way I won't have to start out in here and then move out. I'll bring you right back. Okay, I've got the boring head mounted now. I'm still at 0, on my DRO. And I backed the head as far as it would go. And I believe I believe it'll make that cut right there. So the dial on this boring head goes from 0 to 50, and 50 on it is 100 thousandths down here. So we're going to go a half a turn each time. We'll be taking 25 thousandths off of each side. Let's see if we can get it started back in there. Going about a half a turn each time. All right, I think we're going to take one more cut and then we're going to do some measurements. And I'm going to make a couple spring passes here before we take our measurement. .377. Let's make it 2.380. All right, we still got about 200 thousandths to go. I'm going to get this on the 0 mark. Now that we're on a 0, let's see where we are here. We're looking 380, so we got about 180 to go. Each half turn should be 50 thousandths. It should be right on 300 now. And it is. Can you see that? 2.3. So we'll take another. $350. We're wanting 380. So I need to turn about 15 on the dial. And we're not looking for a snug fit by any means here. We want a good slip fit. Alright, let's pull our table out. Remember, we should be on, or DRO is set on 00, so we can come out here and just do a quick check. Sanity check, pretty much. That's about as close as I think I can get it. It wouldn't hurt if it was a little looser, but that is fine right there. So I'm going to retract the boring head now back all the way to the beginning. I'll move over here, bore this one out. I'll do that one off camera, and when we come back, we're going to split this in half. Okay, I've got the second hole bored out now, and checked it for size. Everything's fine. I suspect I got a pretty wicked burr up under the bottom side, which I do. I'm going to get this burr cleaned up off this bottom side. Then we're going to come back, set it up in the vise, and split it on this half line. Okay, I got our workpiece deburred now. We're going to put it upright, or on its edge, I'm sorry. Put it on its edge in the vise. And I've got the long reach slitting saw installed. If you followed the channel, you saw me make this several videos ago. Probably been 6-8 months ago now. And again, the reason I did that, this is a normal R8 collet slit and saw arbor, and the space between the blade and where this pulls up in the spindle leaves you only about an inch. So there's no way it would reach down to here. So I made this long reach one just for jobs like this. And again, we're not making watches here. This is simply a tool mount. So I'm going to eyeball that, put the micrometer on it to the desired height right there, and lock the Z-axis down. Now I'll pull this back to where the saw is just going to go through the back of it. I'll lock the Y-axis down, and let's see what. I think that speed looks all right. That is 320. We'll try that. If it's too slow, I tell you what, let's go up one. Let's go into high range first gear, which is 600. Yeah, that looks better. I'm going to let it just feed into it. Get my speed look, what it looks like a good feed rate. This will be so much straighter and precise than trying to cut this on the bandsaw. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the video, half of this is going to go over to the just in my parts bin, be saved for a future project. This piece, I'm going to turn it over now and mark for some mounting holes on the workbench. Come back and we'll drill them. Alright, I've got some mounting holes laid out on here. We're going to set this up. The screws that I'll be using to mount these are number 10 screws. So I've got a bit. Let's see what I think I went a size larger. Yeah, this is a 7/32 bit. And just like before, we're just going to lay this out by eye. I'll zero out the DRO right here. And this is some kind of gummy aluminum, so this small bit's probably going to get clogged up. I'll try to keep it cleaned out. Making a note of the DRO reading. Alright, I want to countersink these screws. The head on it is, or on them are just a little smaller than 3/8. So we're going to countersink with a 3/8 bit. And I'm going to countersink them about a 1/2 inch deep. Screws aren't quite as long as I would have liked. So what I'm going to do is touch off right there, zero out. That's 400 thousandths. I think that'll be fine. We'll come back to the DRO setting we made a note of. And as always, we've got a little bit of deburring to do up here and down here where the screws come, where the drill bit came through. So I'll do that, and then I think I'll also clean up all the die cam off. Then I think we'll be ready to mount this on the wall. Okay, I held one of the ratchets up here, and right in this area right here, I think is where I want them. So I put a mark, and now I'm going to take my little torpedo level and just run me a straight line, and I hope I'm not blocking the camera entirely here. I'll run me a line there, and on the x-axis, that's where I'd like to be. And remember, the distance between the two centers was 3.444, which is what I've got marked right here. So I'll put a mark there. And what we're going to do is just put a couple screws in the wall that the PVC pipe will set on. Let's see, one more thing before I do that. Well, I've got a good point there. I want to mark halfway, which would be 1.722. All right, so let's run a couple screws in our first positions. And again, that's going to be just for this to set down on. And I've also put a mark up here which is about 3 inches up from that line. Now I'm going to put me a starter hole right where this crosses up here. And I'll take one of our long screws that we made the countersink for. That's right on that pencil mark that we made. All right, there they are. They're straight. They're the correct distance apart. Let's see if our tools work. All right, I might have squeezed it down a little bit too tight there. So there's the two tools mounted. I think that'll be convenient to the chargers, which are right here. It's got all my rechargeable tools in one location. And just another play on the PVC pipe. Hope you've enjoyed this little video. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next one.